Hello, welcome to the show. January is done. We got the plays of the month for January coming up a little bit later. Also this week, the story on Kelly Richardson, the new volleyball coach, settling in at Western Illinois. And in the campus spotlight, Mariah Claren, a Jackrabbit basketball player who is right at home on horseback at South Dakota State. Well, we are into the second week of the Summer League, second half of the Summer League season in basketball. Fort Wayne's men getting hot. Steve Forbes is the player of the week this week. 21 points against USD and 15-10 in a win over Omaha. Vicki McIntyre at Oral Roberts is the women's player of the week. Two more incredible games for her, including 16 points, 20 rebounds, and 9 blocked shots against South Dakota State.
McIntyre is not just a tall player, she's a really good player, and I think that's what she still doesn't get enough credit for. She's someone that can change a game with her offense and defense, her ability to move. She blocked a lot of shots in that game, 9 against us, but they weren't your traditional right in front of you block. She had to come from help side, go across the lane, and really get it at the last second. So she's a very, very good player, and should be a tough one for us to go against down there.
We'll show you more of what he's talking about coming up next, a rundown of the week in women's hoops as we head into the second half of the Summit League season.
Inside the Summit League on Midco Sports Network is presented by Grand Falls Casino and Golf Resort and Dakota Land Honda. Inside the Summit League on Midco Sports Network is presented by Sanford Health, your Heartland Chevy team dealers, and the Sioux Falls Convention and Visitors Bureau.
Welcome back to Inside the Summit League and talking women's basketball now with Brad Newitt, our college basketball analyst. And let's start with Vicki McIntyre at Oral Roberts. Talked about her already in the show. 6'7". She's averaging just over 15 rebounds a game, almost 5 more than anybody else in the league right now. Why is she the biggest game changer in the Summit League right now?
Well, it starts for what she does on the defensive end of the floor. She's a great shot blocker, intimidator inside, and can patrol the paint. So teams have a hard time scoring anything inside when she's in the game. And then, like you mentioned, a fantastic rebounder for Oral Roberts. And I think she's really starting to find her groove scoring-wise for this team, too, and that's why they're having a little more success with her.
Yeah, it hasn't translated into wins, at least in the last 2 games. They've lost the last 2 against South Dakota State and USD, the league leaders. But Oral Roberts and Vicki McIntyre are going to be fun to watch in the Summit League tournament this year. Speaking of USD, the Coyotes, the defending Summit League tournament champions, are they still loaded enough to do it again?
Well, they're scoring at a great rate. They've done that all season long, and that's been one of the things that has been great for Amy Williams and her squad. And, you know, you look at they're averaging almost 80 points a game, Tom, in Summit League play. They have great scores in Rochelle Contreras and then also with Nicole Seecamp. So you got those 2 scores that are really carrying a lot of the load for them. So, yeah, they're loaded. They can do it again. All
right, the Coyotes are at the top right now. South Dakota State right behind them. And SDSU's women, like the SDSU men right now, are doing it with defense. Both are leading the league, in league play anyway, in giving up points per game. The Jacks women giving up 63 points a game right now.
Yeah, they've really found their way defensively. That was something that Aaron Johnson's group, I think, was struggling with a little early on, but they've kind of found a nice identity there. Locking down people. They're very athletic, very deep like they always have been. And when they play on their home floor and do that to people, you can see the results. They destroy Oral Roberts and North Dakota State this week at Frost Arena and really dominated those games.
I just beat North Dakota State by 30 in Brookings. But North Dakota State, they got off to that hot start in the league. They've cooled off a little bit. Why?
I think teams have gotten a little bit more used to how they're guarding and playing North Dakota State. I think new coach there, new system a little bit. They took a few people by surprise. Brooke Lamar obviously having a great season, and teams are really keying on her. They're making life very difficult for her. The other thing is North Dakota State's had to go on the road, and that's a tough place to play. They haven't had a lot of success on the road this year.
Yeah, that certainly hasn't changed anywhere at all this year. It's still tough to win on the road.
It is. It's tough, especially when you get into league play because these teams all know each other so well, Tom, and then you get the scouting. The road trips themselves aren't easy, and it's tough on these players. It is tough to go win on the road.
And there's Wednesday games and Sunday games, and there's games all over the place this year on the schedule.
Yeah, there hasn't been as much rhythm, and with the 9 teams in the Summit League, that's created a little bit of imbalance, but I think still the hardest thing is going on the road to win is difficult because it's a different environment and you're just out of your routine maybe a little bit. You don't get as much practice time because you got to spend some time traveling, and those things all come into play too.
All right, 2 other teams that to keep an eye on. Western Illinois is sneaky good right now. They're sitting there. They've won 3 games in a row. They've got Ashley Luke, one of the top posts, but they've also got other players, and those other players are kind of the key right now.
They really are. They're shooting the ball very well from the three-point line, and they're taking excellent care of the basketball as well, and those are the 2 things that are really helping them be successful successful. Like you mentioned, won 3 in a row, so they're getting some momentum here, and they've got to go on the road though now to some tough places, so we'll see how they do with that.
You got Tori Nieman at 11 points a game. Sophie Reichelt, a junior this year, is playing very well at 10 points a game. Michelle Maher at 9 points a game, all in support of Ashley Luke. But as you said, Western is at North Dakota State on Friday. They got their next 3 on the road. They lead the league in scoring right now at 78 points a game, so a fun team to watch. And another team that is sitting there right now at 5-4 in the league is IUPUI. They beat South Dakota State. They beat USD by 25, held them to 43 points. IUPUI is still very dangerous.
They are. They're always a really good defensive team, and that hasn't changed. They are excellent at pressuring the basketball, and if you're not ready to handle that pressure and take care of it, they'll turn you over and they will hold you down. And that's their key, is they've got to play great defense. They have struggled this year scoring, but if they've been able to hold teams down and play good defense, they've been successful.
All right, going to be a fun next 3 or 4 weeks as we get to the end of February and the end of the regular season for the women. All right, men's basketball coming up next. South Dakota State is staying hot. Fort Wayne is coming on as well. North Dakota State holding steady. Who else is going to be in the running at the end of the month? We will chew on that next.
Inside the Summit League on Midco Sports Network is presented by Grand Falls Casino and Golf Resort and Dakota Land Honda. Inside the Summit League on Midco Sports Network is presented by Sanford Health, your Heartland Chevy team dealers, and the Sioux Falls Convention and Visitors Bureau.
All right, welcome back now to men's basketball. And Brad, there was no clear-cut favorite really at the beginning of the season when the league portion of the season started anyway. Is there a favorite now, do you think?
Well, 2 teams have separated themselves a little bit, and that's South Dakota State and North Dakota State. They've been able to go on the road and win some games. For North Dakota State, they're winning some close ones. We'll talk a little bit about that, but South Dakota State, they've been rolling at home.
They have won 8 in a row. Jackrabbits doing it with defense. They're holding teams in the last 8 games. All these wins combined under 35% shooting. That is unbelievable.
It is. They've played fantastic defense. They've become a lockdown defensive team for Scott Nagy, and that's really what has carried them. But they're also playing very well offensively, too. I mean, they're not just winning games close. They're winning games by 20+.
All right, they hit the road, though, this week at Fort Wayne and at IUPUI. North Dakota State, meanwhile, they keep winning close games. They've won 2 league games in overtime now. Is this the Lawrence Alexander effect, one of the best players in the league late in games?
Well, he leads the league in scoring, and like you said, he is a great late game player. He makes big shots for them, big free throws for them. He is their leader, and the ball's in his hands a lot, and that helps as well. And they're a team that takes excellent care of the basketball, so they don't beat themselves, and they are giving themselves chances to win games, and they're really coming through when they need it.
And Alexander, as you said, just over 20 points a game in league play. North Dakota State's got a couple of home games this week against Omaha and South Dakota. Fort Wayne is coming on. Won 3 in a row now. Steve Forbes shooting it up over 55%. How dangerous is Fort Wayne? What have they done to kind of flip the switch here?
Well, it started with a lineup change. For John Kaufman. He went to a little bit of a smaller lineup, and that really sparked them offensively. They're shooting 49% in their last 3 games, all games that they've won with this new lineup. And I think it's helping Forbes as well because he's getting better touches, harder for teams to double team on him, and when they do, Fort Wayne's really making them pay.
Max Landis has come into the starting lineup. Joe Reed is coming off the bench, doing a nice job at that. And Fort Wayne won 3 in a row. They host South Dakota State on Thursday, going to be kind of the game of the week there. IUPUI continues to be a pleasant surprise for everybody in the league with Jason Gardner, first-year head coach there. They're 4-4 in the league right now. They're in the top half in field goal shooting and rebound margin and a lot of good stats right now.
And I really credit Jason Gardner because he had to come in and he had to change the style of play. They've gone to a slower tempo, maybe not quite as talented as some of the other teams in the league, but they've controlled the pace, they've controlled their turnovers, and they play an excellent defense, and that's kept them in games, and they found a way to win some close games. So really nice job of really fighting through. Now the question is, in the second half, when you start playing these teams again for the second time, can you replicate that?
All right, 4 league wins already, though, right now for IUPUI after just 1 all of last season. Oral Roberts is hanging around right now at 5-3 in the league. They got a big road win at South Dakota on Saturday. Do they have enough, I should say, other than Obi Amegano and Corey Bilberry to be a contender at the end?
I think the key player for them is Donnell Henderson. How does he play in the post for them? Can he become that third player that's a consistent scorer, rebounder for them? They're going to need him to really come on here in the second half of the season. We've seen games when he has played well, they have done well. So I think that's the key player for them.
All right, speaking of South Dakota, they've lost their last 2 at home. They're free-falling a little bit right now. Do they have enough to be a factor at all here coming down the stretch?
Well, they've got to get things corrected offensively. They're really struggling scoring the basketball, only shooting about 40% here of late. And that's been kind of the thing Craig Smith has really been scratching his head at, because they were scoring the basketball pretty well early in the league season, but as they've kind of starting to go through here now, they've got to get more consistent there. They probably need to be a little bit better on the defensive end too, just contesting shots at the rim.
But a team that, if Casey Kasperbauer and if Brandon Boss are making shots, they're very good.
They are very good, because those guys can provide some offensive firepower. They just haven't been consistent enough.
All right, Western Illinois is still really young, maybe a year away there. Denver's lost 3 in a row on the road. They get their next 4 games at home, but what's Denver need to do to get going here?
Well, the home will help them. They played much better at home. And the key for them is they have to shoot the basketball well. That's what their team is built around. So when they don't shoot it well, they have a hard time defending and rebounding with a lot of the other teams in the Summer League, because they play a smaller lineup. So they've got to shoot the 3 well. They've got to shoot it well from the perimeter.
All right, then Omaha's down at the bottom of the standings right now at 2-7. They're fun to watch. They play a nice style. They score a lot of points. But what do they need to change maybe to win ball games in the Summit League?
It starts a little bit with just their defensive presence. Even though they score a lot, they give up a lot of easy ones on the other end, and that's really hurt them, especially in road games, because they haven't been able to compensate for some of those easy baskets they give up with their offense. The other thing is just taking care of the basketball. When you turn it over, you're giving the other team easy opportunities to score on the other end.
All right, the Mavs will become eligible next year for the Summit League tournament. It'll be great to have them in. But we head to March with South Dakota State and North Dakota State, the contenders on the men's side, or the leaders right now, at least, on the men's side. Thanks, Newitt.
You bet. Thanks for having me.
All right, coming up next, a new men's soccer coach at Denver. Got some words and thoughts from the new volleyball coach at Western Illinois, and a jackrabbit with a horse hobby at South Dakota State.
Inside the Summit League on Midco Sports Network is presented by Grand Falls Casino and Golf Resort and Dakota Land Honda. Inside the Summit League on Midco Sports Network is presented by Sanford Health, your Heartland Chevy team dealers, and the Sioux Falls Convention and Visitors Bureau.
Welcome back. We've got men's golf and a new men's soccer head coach at Denver in this week's News and Notes. Denver is the pick to repeat as league champion in men's golf. The Pioneers get the spring season started next week at a tournament in San Antonio. And Jamie Franks is the new men's soccer head coach at Denver. He takes over for Bobby Moose, who moved on to the head coaching job at Wake Forest last month. Franks has been an assistant at Denver for the last 3 seasons. At Western Illinois, Kelly Richardson is settling into her new job as the head volleyball coach there. Here is Dan Wallace with the coach in Macomb.
Now, for those, you're brand new to this program here, so for those of you, or those of us out there that haven't had a chance to get caught up with you, just tell the folks at home a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. I have spent the last 11 years of my career coaching volleyball. I played collegiately. I was a setter. Came out, started my career in high school, coached a couple years there, and then took over the program at Southwest Baptist University. Was the head coach there for 7 years, and then moved on to University of Texas at Arlington. So that is where I spent this past season, and I'm now joining the Leatherneck family. I'm very excited to be here.
You accept the position as head coach. Going through the interview process, what made you realize that you wanted to apply for this position, and what made you think that you were really a good fit for this head coaching job?
There were so many things that made Western a good fit, not only for myself but for my family as well. First of all, I'm familiar with the Summit League. It's a great volleyball league. I'm excited to be here and be competing at this level. Also, the town, the school being a smaller town, a tight-knit community, a family-oriented community. That's what I've been raised in. That's what I enjoy being in. My husband and I are very excited to not only be here at Western, but be a part of the community here as well. And so all of those things combined just made it a great fit for us.
Now spring practice is right around the corner. I know the team's getting strength and conditioning underway as we speak. Talk about your coaching style and philosophy on the court when you're getting the team ready to compete.
Absolutely. I like very fast, upbeat practices. I like high intensity. I'm coming, get lots of touches, lots of reps. That's really important to me. I also like a positive, environment. I like to celebrate the small victories. Whenever we're making progress and we're doing new things and we're applying new systems to the team, it's not always, they don't always pick it up right away. Sometimes it takes some time, and it's important to celebrate the small victories within that as we're progressing and getting better. And so that's the kind of environment that we will be bringing to the gym as we prepare here this spring.
You talk about familiarity with the Summit League this fall, start up another season of women's volleyball here at Western Illinois. What should fans expect to see offensive and defensively out of a team in your ideal situation?
Absolutely. A fast offense. We're going to, again, come in and we practice quick reps. We want to make sure that we're keeping our offense fast and efficient. I was a setter, so I'm very big on that offensive side of how we run that system and making sure that we run it efficiently and consistently. That's going to be very important. And I think high intensity, we want to elevate just the complete culture of the program and the environment in the gym, and that's what we want people to see when they come and watch us play this fall, that we're excited to be here, we put hard work into it, we've got a lot of intensity, we're excited, we're moving forward, and that's just the culture we want in the gym as people come in and watch our team this fall.
All right, we go to Brookings this week for the campus spotlight. Tyler Merriam has the story on a senior at South Dakota State with a passion for basketball and for horses.
I wasn't as tall as everybody. I did have a growth spurt my 8th to 9th grade year, and that's when I kind of, got a lot taller than everybody else.
Clarin exceeded both 1,000 points and 1,000 rebounds during her 3 years starting in Princeton, Minnesota, a small community 1 hour north of the Twin Cities. And SDSU was attractive to her for multiple reasons.
I just really liked the school. I liked how it was, in a small town and, allowed me to have my horses here. And the community just seemed really different than others, just really involved and supportive.
And a key point there, horses. Clarin's love for the equine species was evident from an early age and has shaped the woman she has become.
I think I always knew I loved horses. Since I was just little, I always liked playing with the little figurines and whatnot, and just kept asking my parents, when do I get a horse, when do I get a horse? And finally they got me one for my 12th birthday.
Mariah and her family have got into riding and horses. She's done competitions, whether it be the barrels or the figure eights, things like that.
I have my own horse. My sister has her horse, but I also lease a horse.
It's neat to see that side of Mariah. She gets everybody on the horses and kind of our team equestrian person to get us all introduced to it.
I think it is a stress reliever. I don't know. It's just, I personally like riding alone. I like just being there to relax and just sit in my thoughts, and I don't know, I love it.
Clarin's in her second year as a full-time starter. She's made the Summit League Commissioner's List of Academic Excellence and the league's honor roll each of the past 2 years. And she plays with a passion and intensity that is impossible to miss.
Yeah, on the court, she's got a lot of spit and fire. She and I seem like we always kind of are either clicking really well or butting heads in a good way, the way you'd want as a player and coach. We're both very competitive, and you can see her intensity come out on the court.
I think we're both strong personalities in our own way. We're both very upfront, and we both know exactly how we feel.
She plays with her heart on her sleeve, and there's nothing wrong with that. We all love that about Mariah. I think that adds a certain quality to our team. And from where she was as a freshman to where she is now as a senior, a starter, playing on one of the better mid-major teams in the country, she's really grown as a player, really grown as a teammate, and we're really proud of what she's doing for us.
What he expects is just working hard. And if you do that for him, that he can't ask for anything else. Like, if you're giving 100% every day, he won't ask for anything else. It doesn't matter how many shots you make or how many rebounds you get, that he'll be happy.
Clarin started out as a biology major specializing in education. She has since changed to an advertising and graphic design major. But both Clarin and AJ say her talents lean towards photography. A very fun-loving person, but also someone that really sees a unique side of things. Photography is really important, or she loves to take pictures. She does some of that on the side. So as much as she kind of has a fun-loving attitude, she's got a real serious side to her when it comes to art, when it comes to design, photography. She's a really talented person.
My true passion lies in photography. If eventually I could get to where I could support myself with a photography business, that's what I would want to do. But I also do like the design and just the marketing aspect of both my majors. They've been a really good combination for me. It kind of led me to photography, which is awesome.
Up next, you did them, we put them together. You can watch them after the break. It is the Plays of the Month coming up.
Inside the Summit League on Midco Sports Network is presented by Grand Falls Casino and Golf Resort and Dakota Land Honda. Inside the Summit League on Midco Sports Network is presented by Sanford Health, your Heartland Chevy team dealers, and the Sioux Falls Convention and Visitors Bureau.
Time now for the Summit League Plays of the Month. Our producer, Chad Hunt, has selected and compiled the best of the best from January. We'll see you next week.
left baseline. Go to Griffin. One-hand jam. And Griffin. Beautiful offense and a prettier finish from the senior out of San Antonio.
Jump shot to the right of the free throw. Carter, 1-on-5, driving layup, yes. He dribble drive down the lane, high arching. Cross-court pass, Carter, 3 on the way. Got it. Carter, top of the key, 3 on the way. Good. 2.3 seconds to go. CJ Carter's got 45 points.